points towards creation. So the first angel's message, when it tells us to worship the Creator, is sending us back to Genesis, and we notice that the sign of the Creator is the observance of the seventh-day Sabbath. Now allow me to read you a few other statements, amazing statements from Henry Morris, who is an evangelical scholar. By the way, he passed away in 2006. He was a staunch defender of a 6-day literal creation, and he was the founder of the Institution for Creation Research in San Diego, California. Notice what he says. Biblical creationism, pages 61 and 62. The observance of the Sabbath day, that is, rest day, was not instituted by this commandment. That is, by the fourth commandment. He says the Sabbath was not instituted by the fourth commandment. For it had been practiced by mankind ever since the actual week of creation, when God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because He had rested from all His work which God created and made. On page 251, he says this: not only is there considerable evidence that Sabbath observance existed in both Israel and in other nations long before Moses, but the Word of God makes it plain that it was established by God Himself in commemoration of His completed creation, and that it has been observed as a special day of rest, at least by some, ever since. In another quotation, page 253 of the book Biblical Creationism, he says, with the passing of the centuries, the Sabbath eventually became almost exclusively associated with the religious ceremonies of the nation of Israel, even though the Creator had hallowed it originally for all men. When the Creator eventually became man, however, in the person of Jesus Christ, He stressed that it had never been intended as a mere Jewish religious ritual, as the Pharisees had distorted it, but it was made for the good of all men. Those are amazing statements from an evangelical scholar who's saying that the Sabbath is a creation institution and it was kept by the human race long before the existence of Moses or the existence of the Ten Commandments. But now we need to move forward. Let's talk about the exodus of Israel from Egypt. You remember the sign that God gave to mark the exodus from Egypt? It was the Passover, right? Now let me ask you, who was it that delivered Israel from bondage in Egypt and established the institution of the Passover? Go with me to Exodus chapter 3 and verses 13 and 14. This is happening at the burning bush. There's a majestic being that comes to speak with Moses. I want you to notice the terminology that is used. Then Moses said to God, indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is His name? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And He said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Who was it that appeared in the burning bush? What was His name? His name was I am. And He says, I have been sent to deliver Israel from Egypt. Now, if you read Exodus 20, verse 1, which is the preamble to the Ten Commandments,